So now we'll start with the different fields of different fields in biology. If there are any doubts regarding the topic, if you have not understood anything, we'll keep it in the end of the class. Okay. End of the class, you ask me if any doubts are there, anything you have not understood. Okay. So the different fields in biology, till now you have come through, you have understood that the different fields of botany and different fields of zoology are present. There are different, the study of different type of animals is known as zoology, whereas the study of a different type of plants um, is known as botany. Okay, so now the different field of study in biology are one is microbiology, zoology, botany, ecology, taxonomy, and physiology. Okay, so we'll study each one of them in detail. But to give you a vague idea or a fair idea, microbiology means nothing but study of microorganisms. Okay, study of microorganisms. Okay. Study of microorganisms is known as microbiology. Remember this. Easy to remember, right? Micro itself says that it is study of the microbes, and biology is the study of life. So no, you know about it. My biology is nothing but study of life. Zoology is study of animals. Botany is study of plants. Ecology is what? Ecology is nothing but to study about the between relationship between the organism and the environment. Okay, organism and the environment. So whatever interaction that happens between the organism and the environment. Now see, organism depends on the environment for food, for shelter, for other basic necessities. Yes or no? For food, for shelter and other basic necessities, what does the organism do? They depend on the environment. Now for the food, we depend on the animals, we depend on the plants. Yes or no? So different type of resources we use, where different type of resources we use from the environment to live. So that is nothing but called as ecology. So the relationship between the organism and the environment is known as ecology. Okay, the relationship between the organism and the environment is known as ecology. Okay. Now coming to taxonomy. What is this taxonomy? Taxonomy is nothing but naming organisms. We have to remember this one. What is taxonomy? Is naming organisms. Now see, so why taxonomy is important? See, it's very important to name a plant or any organism, yes or no? Otherwise, it is very difficult because ample number of organisms are there in the aquatic as well as in the terrestrial, that is in the land as well as in the water. So if you don't name them, what will happen? It will be very difficult, right? To understand which organism you are talking, which plants we are talking about. So it is very important to name a particular organism. Okay, to name a particular organism. Now what happens? Why this taxonomy is important? Why it is important? So different scientists work on different organisms. They work on microorganisms, they work on plants, they work on animals. Okay. Now, for example, I'm taking the example. Okay. Now, for example, I'll take the example of scientist Sonal here. Okay. So, Sonal, I'm taking a name just like that. Don't feel bad. So, the scientist Sonal is working on one plant. Okay, think she's working on a plant, rose plant here. And when she's working or doing the research on the rose plant, sitting in India, which is known as, which is given a different names. Okay, rose plants have different types. So she's working in one type of a rose plant. So what happens is she is working here on that particular rose plant, and someone sitting in US is also working on the same rose plant. Okay, someone sitting in the US is working on the same rose plant but of different type. Okay, but of different type. Now, the one rose plant which Sonal is working has got has to be given one name so that they can differentiate that this rose plant is different, and the scientist who is working on USA, that rose plant is different. Okay, that rose plant is different. So like that, to differentiate between the two rose plants, and it has between the two plants or the two organisms, and it should be universal. It should be universal. That means everyone should use that particular name only. So taxonomical nomenclature is done. So taxonomical naming is done. Understood? To differentiate or to make sure that everyone knows that what plant it is, or which plant we are talking about, or which plant the research is going on. So to know that, to differentiate that, taxonomical nomenclature is done. Nomenclature is nothing but naming. Okay, so to know that which organism we are working on, or to know that to know which plant it is, to know which animal it is, so that the taxonomical name nomenclature is done, that is taxonomical naming is done. So differentiate, and it is done universal. The one who is sitting in India also should use the same name, and the one who is sitting in the US also should, or any other part of the world should also use the same name. That is universal. Okay, that is universal. And why it is done is, so that no confusion should be there. Okay, so that no confusion should be there regarding the plants, regarding the animals, or regarding the any organisms. Okay, any organism. So taxonomy is done, means naming of organism is done, so that no confusion should be there. Understood? So that no confusion should be there regarding the name of a particular organism. You must be calling that particular organism in your mother tongue, or in any other language, whatever you want. But when it comes to scientific language, language, we should only use the taxonomical name. Okay, we should only use the taxonomical name. Like some of those taxonomical name is, see, I'm just giving the examples, don't have to stress about it. Some of the taxonomical names of such rice is Oryza sativa. Okay, then for mango is Mangifera indica. Then for humans it is Homo sapiens. Okay, for humans it is Homo sapiens. So these are the different this, what is the scientific names given to them, so that if you call your rice, or in your mother tongue, any such name is given to that, whenever it comes to in the scientific level, that particular name only should be used, so that we will know that okay, you are Oryza sativa, means okay, you are talking or saying about the rice. Like that, it has to be universal. Okay, it has to be universal. So the naming of the organism is done. Okay, so the naming of the organism is done. Uh, this is about taxonomy. Is there any doubts regarding taxonomy? You have to only remember is taxonomy means naming of organisms. Okay, taxonomy means naming of organisms. Either it can be any microorganism, plants, animals, okay, which includes birds, okay, which includes birds, aquatic animals, terrestrial animals, okay, that is land and the water animals as well. Next, coming to physiology. Physiology is nothing but to know about the functions of the different organs working in. Okay, functions and the organs working in your body. To know about the whole system of your body, know about the alimentary canal of your body, that is from the food pipe to the anus. To study about that, it is nothing but called as physiology. Okay, the different field of study in biology deals with microbiology, that is study of microorganisms, zoology, study of animals, then botany, study of plants, ecology, relationship between the organism and the environment, whereas the organism is dependent on the environment for its survival and it is interrelated. And it is interrelated. Interrelated means organism is dependent on the environment and environment is related to organism. Okay. It's related to organism. If there are any doubts regarding this, please put down in the chat box. Please put down in the chat box. Next, coming to taxonomy. Taxonomy is nothing but naming of organisms. Okay, taxonomy is nothing but naming of organism, and physiology means to know to study about the different organs working in your body. Okay, different organs working in your body. Is there any doubt regarding this? Different fields of study in biology. Is there any doubts? Put down in the chat box. No doubts. Am I audible to you people? Are there any doubts regarding this? Can we go to the next? Okay, we'll move on to the next slide. Okay, we'll if there are any doubts, we'll clear it in the end of this class. Okay, so first coming to the different study in biology. That is, first one is ecology, which I have just definition we have gone through. That is study of how organisms interact with their environment and with other organisms. Okay, so one organism is dependent on the other organism. Okay, organism is dependent on the environment as well. Environment for the food, for air, for shelter. It is dependent on the environment. Okay, whereas organisms are interrelated with the other organisms as well. Whereas the humans are dependent on the animals, dependent on the plants for their food. So this is how there is a interaction or a relationship between the organism to organism, and also a organism is dependent on the environment for shelter, for food, and for the other necessities. Okay, ecology is nothing but study of how organisms interact with their environment and other organisms. Okay, how organisms interact with their environment and other organisms. Okay, so what happens is the organism, how it interacts with the environment, like there is an interaction between the environment where it depends on the environment for air, for basic necessities, for shelter, for other resources as well, like water, land. Yes or no? This is how we are dependent on the that is the external environment, whereas we are also dependent on the other organism for food. Okay, for food and other resources as well. So what happens here is that interaction of between the environment and the other organism, between the environment and the other organism is known as ecology. Okay, so if I ask you what is ecology, ecology is nothing but study of how organisms interact with their environment and with the other organism. Okay, interact with their environment and other organism. In this, we learn about food web, Okay, in this we learn about food web, food chain, okay, about the ecosystem, how the ecosystem is, how we are dependent on it. So this is all we learn there. Okay, about the food web we learn, about the food chain we learn, and ecosystem. So we'll learn it further that how one organism is dependent on the other organism for the food. Okay, how we are dependent on the environment for resources such as air, water, land. Okay, this is nothing, that study is nothing but called as ecology or ecological study. Okay, so next coming to taxonomy. So already we have discussed it. What is taxonomy? Taxonomy is nothing but the study of classification and evolutionary interrelationship among organisms. So kind of a difficult definition here. Okay. So what I'm going to say you, taxonomy is nothing but classification and evolutionary relationship among organisms. This is how it has been defined, but it is nothing but taxonomy is nothing but to classify and to name them, okay, to name them according to which class they belong, okay, according to which class they belong. Now coming to if now see this is for example here plantain, okay, plantain. So what happens? I'm taking the example of mango. Mango belongs to the class or the kingdom plant. So what happens is as the plantain belongs to, as the mango belongs to this kingdom, that is plantain kingdom. So the name is given for them. Mangifera indica, the scientific name, it is given to them, that is Mangifera indica. So that anywhere around the world, if they have to know, okay, anywhere around the world, if they have to know how many types of mangoes are there, what are the different genetic variations of the mangoes, or how the taste of the mango in each different regions and all, if they want to know or to study about it, they only have to go and search for Mangifera indica. If they type the word Mangifera indica, everything about mango they will get to know. Okay, everything about the mango they'll get to know. This is universal. Okay, this is universal. All around the world, they can use this name, Mangifera indica. That is for mango. Okay, but what happens is mango is a plant. Okay, it comes under a mango is a tree which comes under the plant kingdom. That is botany. Okay, that is botany, which comes under the plant kingdom. So what happens is they are classified into plantae. Okay, so they are classified into plantae. Animals, all the animals are classified into animalia. Okay, all the animals are classified into animalia, and all the plants are classified into plantae. Okay, all the classifier are into plantae, and that study or that classification is known as taxonomy, naming and classification. Okay, taxonomy is nothing but naming and classifying them under plant, animal, fungi, protista, that is bacteria, or it is any other organism, they have been classified. Okay, they have been classified. So what happens is why the classification is done? Why the classification is done? Classification is done only because it gets easy for them to understand. Okay, all the plants they put up in the plantae kingdom, and all the animals into animal kingdom. Now think you want to know about one particular animal. Okay, you have seen that in a National Geographic channel, and now you want to know that what animal it is and all. And now what happens? You don't know the name as well. So what you do is you go into you go on a search. Okay, you go on a search. So what you have to do is you have to go and just type animal kingdom. In that animal kingdom, you will get different types of animals: land animals, water animals. Okay, those all things will be coming down. Different types of animals they will give you one list. So from there you can go and search. Okay, which I have seen was an aquatic animal. That means the water animal I have seen. So what I have to do? I have to go and search in the water animals only. So what, it becomes easy for you. You go and search in the water animals. There you can find that particular animal. Okay, there you can go and find that particular animal. So it makes it easy for everyone. So the classification is done. Okay, so the classification is done, and also to make it easy for understanding the what is that scientific names are given. Okay, also to make it easy for understanding, scientific names are given. Okay, it is not only for a particular country, it is for universal, means for the entire world can use that one particular name. Okay, the entire world can use that one particular name. So to make it easy for people to understand, okay, mango, if you go somewhere else and you keep on saying that if they don't use the name mango for mango and they use something else, then what happens? It gets difficult, right, to make them understand what it is. But if you say that it is Mangifera indica, then everyone will understand. But please don't go and say in shops and all, please give me Mangifera indica. No one will understand. It is like a commonly it is known as mango, but during the research or any other studies, the scientific names are used. Okay, so that there must be no confusion on what the research is done. Okay, there must be no confusion that on what the research is done. So to make it easy for the people to understand, this classification is done and the naming has been done. Okay, classification is done and naming is done. You just don't confuse yourself with this definition. Remember, taxonomy is nothing but naming and classifying the organism. Okay. Naming and classifying the organism. It can be anything. It can be microorganism, animals, plants. Okay, viruses. Then different type of other organisms as well, which are present in the earth. So these all are being classified and they are being named, and that is nothing but called as taxonomy. That comes under the study known as taxonomy. Okay, that comes under the study known as taxonomy. Anyone has got any doubt regarding taxonomy? Anything you have not understood? Can put down in the chat box. Anyone who everything is understood? No doubts regarding the taxonomy? Everyone should answer. Whoever are there in the class. If you have not understood, please let me know. Everyone have understood. I'll ask questions. I'll ask questions. Everyone have understood the topic, what is taxonomy? Okay, then, if you have understood this, we'll move on to the next slide. I'll ask the questions in the end. Please note down the points and take, okay? So next about microbiology, study of microorganisms such as bacteria, protozoans, viruses is known as microbiology. Okay. Study of microorganisms, that is which are not visible to the naked eyes. Okay, the study of microorganisms which are not able to, we cannot see it with our naked eyes. We need an instrument known as microscope. So the study of microorganism is known as microbiology. In this microorganism, they can consist of bacteria, protozoans, viruses, fungi. Okay, fungi you can see, but to see the internal structure, you have to use microscope. So microbiology is nothing but the study of microorganisms such as bacteria, protozoans, and viruses is known as fungi. You just have to remember this small definition. What is microbiology? Microbiology means study of microorganisms. Okay, the study of microorganisms is known as microbiology. Who was the first scientist to study the microorganisms under the microscope? Who was the scientist? Okay, who was the one who used the microscope? Can you put down the answer in the chat box? Who was the first scientist who used the microscope? That we have done already. Am I audible to you, people? Okay, the study of microorganisms such as bacteria, viruses, fungi, and protozoans is known as microbiology. Okay, this is one more field of biology where you can, the study of microorganism is known as microbiology. Next, coming to morphology. Okay, next coming to morphology. Okay, morphology is nothing but the study of gross structures, and forms of organism. That is nothing but to know about the external structures. Okay, morphology is nothing but study of the external structures. External structures which are visible to your eyes. Okay, which are visible to your, like you can see wing. Okay, then the legs. Then it can be hind leg or something like that, foreleg and all. Later we can differentiate it, but you can just make it out, right? This is wings, this is leg, then eyes. Okay, eyes. Then about the head, about the abdomen. Okay, about the thorax region, that is the stomach region and all. So this you can make it out, right? That is the external features of it. Okay. Study of the external structures or features is nothing but called as morphology. Okay, study of external structures or features is known as morphology. Okay, study of the external structures or features is known as morphology, where the study of the different external structure. Now, if for the example, the morphology of the bee is taken, where the study of the wing, study of the legs, study of the thorax region, this is the thorax region, study of the abdomen region, the study of the eye, and these all the external features is known as morphology. So remember, study of the external structures or features of an organism, not only bee, of any organism, is known as morphology. Okay, study of the external structures or features of an organism is known as morphology. Okay, this is known as morphology. And next, coming to anatomy, we have already have known about this particular word, that is anatomy. That is the study of the structures of the entire organism and their parts. That is about the human anatomy is nothing but to know about the internal structures. Okay, to know about the study of the internal structures of the humans or any other organisms. Okay, of the organisms. So it is known as organisms. So that study is known as anatomy. Okay, that study is known as anatomy. Study of the internal structures of an organism is known as anatomy. Here the human anatomy can see the different structures to know what is inside of the body, that is our brain, then the lungs, then the heart, arteries, muscles, liver, then the kidneys, this pancreas, stomach, okay, urinary bladder. So all these things which are there internal, which you cannot see in the external structure or in the external features, that study is known as anatomy. Okay, that study is known as anatomy, to know more about to study about the heart, to study about the lungs, brain, stomach, pancreas, urinary bladder, kidneys, gallbladder, liver, muscles, arteries. These all things, the study of the internal structure of the human or any other organism is known as anatomy. Okay, anatomy is nothing but the study of the structures of the entire organism and their parts. Okay, to study about the internal organism of an human or any other organism is known as anatomy, and the study is known as anatomical study. Okay, and the study is known as anatomical study. Okay, and the study is known as anatomical study. Okay, we'll stop it over here, and if there are any doubts regarding whatever is done for today, you can ask me here.